Every schoolboy knows that as man's inventive power improves the means of international communication, the human world shrinks a little more. There is certainly a growing consciousness amongst most adult progressive nations that they can no longer shrink from their neighbors in isolation, and that only by learning to understand each other intelligently and tolerantly will there be any hope of mass survival to enjoy a golden age. In Europe, the nations are still divided. Nevertheless, there are other forces tending to draw them together, and for the first time, the energies of European countries are being combined in peace instead of being wasted in conflict. Education must make its own positive contribution towards this integration, and the international college concept aims at pioneering a change in the present insular outlook and at overcoming international academic obstacles without minimizing the importance of such human virtues as self-discipline, courage, tolerance, and compassion, in England loosely labeled character. Although similar foundations will be established in other countries, this is the first of its kind in the world, and it's been called Atlantic College because its first students come from countries bordering this area and the neighboring seas, and because of the special relationship between the New World and the Old. The new college is near the village of St. Donat's, South Wales. The old village has disappeared, but for a small church dedicated to Donatus, the favorite saint of mariners on this treacherous coast. St. Donat's Castle, which forms the nucleus of the college buildings, was built by the Stradling family early in the 14th century, and was enlarged and modernized by the American William Randolph Hearst in the 30s. With a commanding view of the Bristol Channel, its position forms a superb setting for the imaginative adventure that was launched here on Foundation Day 1962. This occasion represented the flowering of the idea nurtured by Dr. Kurt Hahn, here seen with the first headmaster, Rear Admiral D.J. Hoare, and Air Marshal Sir Lawrence Darvel, and was made possible only as the result of the generosity of a large number of personal and industrial donors. Essentially, the college provides a 2-year study course at 6th form level as a prelude to entering a university. New students are between 16 and 19 years of age and generally possess 6 or more ordinary level passes. About half the initial course of 53 boys came from Britain, and of these more than 2/3 are former day boys sponsored by local education authorities. Other British boys enter privately or are selected by industrial or commercial firms. Similar educational attainments are required for boys from abroad who are selected by their own educational authorities or by national committees. The freer movement of men between different countries underlines the difficulties of obtaining a university education in a strange country, partly because of the language difficulty and partly because of the wide variation in the requirements of the universities in these different countries. Atlantic College is intended to meet both these problems, and such additional subjects are taken by the overseas students as may be required by the university in the particular country for which they are destined. Emphasis is placed on language mastery, and whichever 3 advanced level subjects are selected, these boys must study 1 foreign language as well as English, and British boys must study 2 foreign languages. The special language laboratory employs the very latest technique in teaching these tongues, and so efficient is this system that a French boy who spoke no English when he joined the college in September was fluent by the following March.
Oye, ¿dónde queda? ¿Dónde queda? Están allí. Te espero en aquella mesa. Pero hay 2 chicas allí. ¿Qué? ¿Te parece mal?
Escuchen.
Chico, ¿dónde están las novelas? Están allí. Te espero en aquella mesa. Pero hay 2 chicas allí. ¿Qué? ¿Te parece mal? Hombre, si la morena es amiga de mi hermana. Tan mejor. Te guardaré una silla.
Она ходит на занятия хорового кружка, консерваторию. Я больше увлекаюсь спортом. Мой любимый вид спорта
Der Bürgermeister.
Erhard ist nicht Bürgermeister. Was ist Erhard? Du hast doch in Deutschland gewohnt.
Erhard. Oh, das ist
Other subjects not associated with each student's own country are taught in English to groups of mixed nationality. Geography is taught in what is perhaps one of the oldest rooms in the castle, forming part of the gatehouse and approached by a narrow staircase. One of the world maps is actually fixed to the portcullis, which still functions. The spelling and pronunciation of some of the more difficult Welsh place names is frequently the source of amusement in a class of mixed nationality. But in itself, the mastery of this type of problem assists in fostering that sense of integration which the college aims to encourage among its students. The subject is painted with a very wide brush and often has regard to this particular part of Britain. Here, students are being given details of a forthcoming expedition, while students in the meteorological section record the daily readings of temperature, pressure, and wind velocity taken at their own weather station. In this chemistry experiment, students are neutralizing an alkali with an acid. Biology is a subject which demands practical demonstration, in this instance on the dogfish. The physics laboratory is particularly well equipped, and students are encouraged to work alone if necessary. Art is taken seriously and in a wider sense contributes towards college activities. The art department is at present housed in an old tithe barn standing near the outer curtain wall of the castle and close to the heavily fortified outer gatehouse. Of the 37 teaching periods each week, all students devote 11 to languages and 5 between art, music, philosophy, and religion. Morning assembly takes the form of individually chosen readings. Students naturally concentrate upon their own courses, and 2 hours each evening are spent in the well-appointed library under supervision. A liberal education is more emphatically ensured by insisting that art students spend 6 hours each week on scientific subjects, and science students in turn cover certain art subjects. This virtual exchange takes place on a Wednesday and coincides with a pause in the program of non-academic activities, which for a college of this kind has a distinct pioneering flavor. They are of two kinds which may be described as intellectual and physical. The first type of pursuit includes arts and crafts, music and drama productions, and sometimes these are combined, as for instance when students make as well as play their own old-fashioned instruments. Art is also an exchange subject. Once again, it extends into the realm of crafts. The college dining hall is known as the breakfast room, and the magnificent 15th century fireplace here was originally located at the Bradenstoke Priory in Wiltshire. Pop music is another example of widening interests, and this diversion often develops into the form of an organized concert. When special clubs are formed for these or other purposes, they are managed by the students themselves, who elect their own officers. The coffee bar is the ultimate expression of such clubs, for this belongs only to the students and serves as a retreat from the school world, where they may invite their friends on occasion and make as much noise as they like.
Someday I'm gonna find a girl who understands my way. Then I won't.
In accordance with the pervading spirit of integration, boys live in houses, mixed nationally under a housemaster who maintains the close relationship with pupils typical of traditional boarding schools.